Hi guys, it's Alexis here from the Live Life in Full Colour project, and in this video I want to talk to you about why you should never ever be the grey man. Alright, so firstly, what is being the grey man? When I started kind of hearing this term of what is the grey man, like being a grey man, I started doing I was in the army, and I'd go on courses, and before I went on a course I'd ask somebody and I'd say, oh, you know, what advice would you say before I go on this course? What do you reckon would be a good thing for me to do when I'm on here? And they would, most of the time I would get the advice of always be the grey man. So they'd say always be the grey man. This term was used and thrown about to kind of have people not stand out. Yeah, so it would ensure that you weren't always at the front and you weren't always at the back. It would make sure that you were somewhere in between, you were somewhere in the middle, and you weren't being recognised. And the idea, I mean, it's a pretty simple concept, is that if you're not recognised, then you're not likely to be picked out. You're not likely to be pulled up to the front. You're not likely to be kind of, you're not gonna feel like you've been shown up. So therefore, you just kind of pass the course. And that was the idea, right? We go on the courses, and you just wanted to get the P. You wanted to get that pass, right? The tick in the boxes would say, which is great for what we were doing. But then, as I started to kind of grow into who I was, I started to realise that this doesn't work for me. And I look back now, and there are courses that I might not have done so well on. And if I'd have done well on those courses, if I've actually done well on those courses, it wouldn't have required me to be the grey man, right? It would have required me to stand out. So I think that being the grey man gets you that pass. It gets you the basics, but it's never fulfilling. You never feel like you achieved your best. You never feel like you failed. You never feel like you did anything wrong. You never feel like you never did anything, like you didn't push yourself out of your comfort zone. You didn't feel like you found your barriers. You didn't find like you hit your fears. You didn't do any of those. So that's important, right? Because you haven't learned anything. If you don't hit those barriers, if you don't go to those extremes, you don't find what it is your strengths are in a given situation, then you're not going to be able to push the boundary, right? So being the grey man is never an option. Never take being the grey man as an option, ever. You have to be thinking to yourself, in this situation, how can I stand out? How can I do something differently? How can I push myself to my limit? And in doing so, you're then going to grow. That's what's going to allow you to see what you're good at in this moment, what you're not so good at in this moment. It's going to allow you to see that kind of growth. So that's kind of what I wanted to say. Those are the kind of bits that I wanted to see. But there was another kind of point on this. If you want to be an inspirational person, if you want to inspire others, then you've got to show them like who you are. You've got to show them your true colours. You've got to show them the full spectrum of who you are. And be prepared to fail and be prepared to succeed. So those are the two sort of ends of the spectrum. But if you want to inspire others and you want to push forwards, then you're going to have to push yourself out of that comfort zone and never be that grey man. All right. Okay. I'll put some details in the bottom of this, but would love to hear your thoughts on this, guys. All right. Speak soon.